What up, YouTube Alaics? Coming back at you with another custom StarCraft 2 cast. Today we have a best of 3 series featuring the SC Evo Complete mod, which puts together the StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 versions of the races into one game. It's a super sick mod. Let's go ahead and introduce our players spawning on the bottom left-hand side of the map, playing the StarCraft 1 Zerg. It's HyperONE going up against his opponent, spawning on the top right-hand side of the map. It's our blue StarCraft 2 Terran player, Patches. This is a high-level matchup. Patches at the time of this game was about 4,700 MMR, and HyperONE was about 4,550 MMR. So, going to be a high-level best of 3 series today. I'm excited for it. If you're new to my channel, I cast a lot of custom StarCraft 2 content. So, if custom StarCraft 2 is something you're interested in watching more of, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And HyperONE going with the proxy hatchery right at the front door of Patches. This is a bit of a ballsy move going up against a StarCraft 2 Terran. Patches will see this in just a second. I feel like as soon as he decides to scout, and he does. Oh no. Oh no, Patches, and he's actually going to wall in his opponent. This is going to be wild. HyperONE going for an expansion at the natural base location as well. The spawning pool is just now beginning. I suspect this hatchery has to be canceled, right? There's no queen that can come out of this because this is StarCraft 1 Zerg. I really want to know what HyperONE's plan is with this. I love unconventional plays. It is so much fun to cast. It is so much fun to watch. Unfortunately, this hatchery will finish. I don't see a lot that can be done with this. So this, to me, looks like a waste of 300 minerals, unfortunately. What is the plan? There's what? Okay, what? So we see what is going to be... Okay. Okay, are we going to see some sort of Cannon Rush style Zerg? What is the plan? No, okay, cancels... Okay, both of the drones do get canceled. Ultimately, I think this hatchery will go down. I love that, though. I love the attempt. I wonder if this was going to be some sort of sunken colony proxy. That's my guess. I could be wrong. HyperONE, leave a comment down below what the plan was with this proxy hatchery. Okay, a few Zerglings will be spawning against what is this? A good handful of Marines, which will jump into the bunkers. And the wall off, this will deny entry for the Zerglings. I would almost decide to cancel this. But at the same time, HyperONE is expanding like a madman. So not all is lost necessarily. The Zerglings do hatch. Will ultimately get rejected, I think. With the handful of Marines, that's about 5 Marines right there. All these Zerglings will go down, and officially Patches manages to clean up the proxy and using the vision of the barracks to take out that Overlord. Oh, it is a bad day to be a Zerg. Keep in mind, this is a best of 3 series HyperONE. That was awesome. That was awesome to see. We don't see a lot of cheesy plays on my channel these days. Usually, they're pretty typical standard play styles. A good clean game of StarCraft is what we usually see, but not today. Today it was not a gentleman's game. No, it was a cheesy, I'm in it to win it sort of match, and I love that. The game is now stabilizing, though. Looks like some Zerglings are spawning. We have the macro hatchery as well. If you're not familiar with Brood War Zerg, there's no such thing as a queen. I mean, there is a queen. It's a flying unit. It's a caster unit, but it does not do anything like a larva inject or creep spread. So the hatchery, the macro hatchery, is kind of required if you're playing Brood War Zerg. Now, I am casting this in August. August marks my last month away from home, and then around the beginning of September, I will be back to my usual setup, which I am excited for, although currently I'm visiting Oregon, and I love it here. I like it a lot more than Texas, that is for sure, which is where I currently live. So, you know, Oregon, it's a beautiful place, nice place to live, nice place to chill out and do the outdoorsy things, which I've been doing a lot of. Oh, I love that. I love this. the cartooned Terran, the cartoon Marine. Very, very classy, like that, Patches. Okay, so lots of Zerglings coming in. Also, keep in mind, there's no such thing as a Baneling bus because Banelings do not exist for the Brood War Zerg. And I love the design of the Brood War Zerglings. They look a lot more like dinosaurs rather than the insect kind of style that StarCraft 2 went with. Both valid, by the way. And it's just so sick seeing the StarCraft 2 graphics mixed in with the Brood War mechanics. And I also think it adds so much flavor to the game seeing Brood War versus StarCraft 2. Another bunker coming down at the natural base location for Patches. So after seeing that cheesy play, I'm assuming Patches is just a little bit scared. We can see that he does have a few command centers, but has not expanded beyond the 2 bases. And I think that's because he's thinking, hey, look, I just witnessed some outrageous cheese. Who's to say that more cheese isn't coming? Usually, in my experience at least, when I'm going up against like really aggressive cheese like that, I'm expecting some sort of follow-up cheese, because you're kind of falling behind if your cheese fails, and almost by default you lose the game. So what you should do in that situation is try to cheese your opponent out of the game. This Overlord does scout a handful of Marines, not too many Marines, but there are 3 bunkers here. 2 of them are full, 1 of them does not have that additional Marine. This is a lot of Zerglings, man. Are we going to see any other tech coming out from HyperONE? Let's see. Okay, we've got, okay, +1 attack on the way. We got Burrow on the way for the Zerg as well. What is that? I totally missed this. Battle cruisers already. So Patches going for the battle cruiser rush. I was too busy talking because the game felt slow, and I totally forgot to look at the production tab. Oh, this is probably gonna spell disaster for the Zerg. I mean, we could enter a base race situation. Keep in mind though, unlike the Brood War battle cruisers, the StarCraft 2 battle cruisers actually warp, and there's no anti-air to speak of. I mean, there are spore colonies, fair enough, but honestly, there's no anti-air in terms of units. We have static defense anti-air, but that is it. Oh man, this is going to be rough. This orbital command will not necessarily go down, but it is under attack. These Marines getting caught out of position will go down. This orbital command is forced to lift off, and now we have the swarm at the front of the line in the natural base location for the Terran. The bunker, 2 of the bunkers do go down. The 3rd bunker does go down. This is so many units. We have, what, are 18 Zerglings on the field. Patches saying, shake my head. Good game. Giving the victory to HyperONE. Great match number 1 for our best of 3 series. I'll go ahead and see you guys on the next one. All right, you guys, welcome to game number 2 for our best of 3 StarCraft 1 versus StarCraft 2 series. Patches saying, I got Terran, no cap. And HyperONE saying, oh, chat, is he lying? Okay, let's see if he's lying, chat. Let's see. Nope, he did in fact spawn as the StarCraft 2 Terran. Patches saying they said no. HyperONE sticking with the Brood War Zerg, so evidently Patches is playing random. Now, looking back at game number 1, I think why Patches said shake my head was maybe at his situation, thinking, hey, look, I thought I was in a better position than I was, and then I got overwhelmed with pure Ling. I think going for the battlecruiser play maybe put him a little bit behind where he should have been ahead. Probably a little bit overconfident with the fact that he did deny some pretty expensive cheese. That was an expensive failure in Patch's defense. HyperONE saying sus, he still doesn't believe him. Patches saying, I just saw your drone, by the way, shake my head. And HyperONE saying sus, where did this drone go? Maybe we missed a scout, or maybe, I don't know. I don't really see anything. Anyway, we have the macro hatchery actually being built first before the hatchery in the mineral line. I guess what's happening here is there's a sort of early wall that HyperONE is going for. A few overlords as well coming across the map, kind of in tandem. They are very close together. They may get spotted simultaneously if Patches gets good map coverage into the middle of this game. Taking a look at what HyperONE is up to, we have the spawning pool coming down, a few more drones, nothing too cheesy in this game so far. Patches definitely playing a macro playstyle. He is expanding in his natural base location. He's also building what is going to be a Reaper. So going for what is going to be some potential early aggression. Nothing too crazy, nothing too cheesy. I want to say this is just about as standard as it gets for a non-standard matchup. I mean, Brood War Zerg versus StarCraft 2 Terran. I really don't know what the meta is, but I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit similar. This Overlord actually going to be spotting the Reaper flying towards, or I guess floating, not technically flying, but floating towards the other side of the map. Taking a look at the production tab, we don't have any sort of defensive units yet, so there's no Zerglings. I don't know if HyperONE noticed what was going to be the Reaper in his base. No kills yet on this Terran unit. And now being chased around by 3. Now 2 drones. Great use of unit control here. Unfortunately, though, 1 drone does go down, but this is not that bad for HyperONE, losing only 1, maybe 2 drones at this point. The second drone actually surviving by turning into an extractor. Now the Zerglings coming in to try and surround this Reaper, and the Reaper is running away. Will survive with its life and 1 kill. Man, that was great use of the extractor mechanic, using it to save the drone and ultimately canceling it so he can get more mining from that dying worker. This Reaper with 2 kills will ultimately go down. HyperONE saying, bro, how is my early game this bad? Hey, HyperONE, look. You're virtually Grandmaster level with your 4500 MMR, and you kept your workers alive pretty good. But this Reaper control is also ridiculous. A few drone, or sorry, SCVs will get caught out of position. So 2 workers killed to 1 this game, and this Reaper's still alive, surviving with 5 kills. Patch is saying, oh, and HyperONE saying, where is my anything? And I guess those SCVs were left for dead by accident. Patch is saying they were trapped outside. They're like, hey, let me into the club, bro. What's going on? I paid my 10 bucks. And Terran's like, you know what? You guys aren't cool enough. We're just gonna leave you outside for the dogs. And by the dogs, I mean the Zerglings. Very good early game from both of these players, all things considered, though. I mean, the workers getting killed by HyperONE, that's a little bit unfortunate for Patches, but ultimately it's 2 workers killed by by HyperONE and 1 killed by Patches. Both of these players are still sitting very comfortable in this game. Creep Colony will be transforming into a Sunken Colony. Now, one other thing about the Brood War Zerg, if you're not familiar with them, and I assume you are to some degree, but if you're not, there is no creep tumors. We have to rely on creep colonies, which then turn into static defense for our Zerg. 5 kills on this Reaper. This Reaper is just being such a nuisance, denying the 4th base as well. Or sorry, yeah, no, the 4th base, I want to say ultimately will go down, but the control from Patches is just so outrageous. Finally going down, and this hatchery will finally be able to be built in peace. But man, that was rough. What a goated Reaper. I feel like we should have given him a name, but he died a martyr. So what should we name him in death? I don't know. Leave a comment down below what you think that unit should have been named, because he's dead now and I can't think of a name. Taking a look at the units, what do we got? So we got 41 workers to 50 workers in favor for HyperONE, but army supply is actually kind of insane. 13 army supply to 3 in favor of Patches. So not a lot of army supply, all things considered. Patches, or sorry, HyperONE is going for, I want to say, a very greedy macro play style. A few Zerglings on the map, but I mean, 8 army supply at 6 minutes in the game. It's not unheard of, but based on the cheesiness we saw in game number 1, we're transitioning to a very macro heavy game, I want to say. Good wall with this bunker and the supply depots. One other thing to keep in mind with Brood War Terran, at least, which is not what we're watching right now, is supply depots don't burrow. So you have to be a lot more mindful of how you build your wall. You can't just wall something off completely unless you build a bunker and you can salvage the bunker. But I mean, you know, in the early game, you might not want to do that. Really depends on your situation, though. A few more Zerglings coming down. We have also battle cruisers on the way, so Patch is going for a similar build to his last one, but we've also got the Hydras. Oh, and we have some battle cruisers in the middle of the Zerg base already. How many workers went down? 20 workers killed this game by Patches, so Patches doing a lot of damage to the economy of the Zerg with these battle cruisers. These Hydralisks will attempt to shut down this battlecruiser harassment, or I guess a full-on push from Patches. Will they warp away is the question. I don't think warp is is cooled down yet, so one battle cruiser will go down. The second one will likely go down unless it's able to make the escape over these rocks, and ultimately does survive with how much HP? 1 HP, is that right? 1 HP on this battle cruiser is actually insane. Likely, no, it will not warp away. Actually summoning the mules to repair this thing, and they are repairing this so fast. 2 more battle cruisers warping in on the back of this. Will HyperONE survive is the question. HyperONE saying, bro, I can't. And to be fair, the warping mechanic against Brood War is actually insane. Throwing out the GG, giving the victory to Patches. So I'll see you guys for game number 3. All right, guys, welcome to game number 3 of 3 for our SC1 versus SC2 best of 3 series. Spawning on the top right-hand side of the map, it's our StarCraft 1 Brood War Zerg player, HyperONE, going up against his opponent, Patches, who is once again the StarCraft 2 Terran. I don't know if he rolled random this time or if he felt confident from game number 2 and he's like, okay, maybe I can win the best of 3 if I roll the same. And then HyperONE saying, wait, are you there? Do I need to pause? And no, he will spot that there is a move out of 2 SCVs. Are we witnessing some cheese? Patches saying no, and HyperONE saying nice. Oh, that is savage. I love that, Patches, but this is scary. This is scary, and I think HyperONE should realize that his situation is scary. We see what are going to be 2 SCVs moving around across the map and a sneaky base on the bottom right-hand side. That is ballsy, especially playing as the Terran where you can just wall off. So he's giving himself kind of a disadvantage or an advantage. This is the definition of high risk, high reward, because it's possible this base won't be spotted until the mid to late game. But I don't know. HyperONE, I think, kind of senses it. No? What? Okay, so we have what is going to be, oh man, two sneaky base plays in the same game by opposite players. Oh wow, that's hilarious. This one was unfortunately scouted by our Terran player Patches, though, and Patches actually throwing down a supply depot kind of in the middle here as well. That is so interesting. This game is already outrageous. That is hilarious. Oh man. And in the last game, I was hoping I would be able to spot the battle cruisers earlier, but unfortunately I am playing on a portable monitor because I am casting out of town. So it's really, my mini map is so tiny compared to what I'm used to. I play on like a 34-inch like ultra wide monitor, but Patches saying no expansion. Oh, interesting. So he must have scouted this, and then HyperONE saying, no, I hate expansions. Why would I do that as a Zerg player? Like, why would I expand? Why wouldn't I just macro up from one base and win the game? I mean, that's kind of what the meta should be, in all honesty. I'm being sarcastic if you can't tell. And then he says, got all over my new t-shirt. What? Wait, what is he saying? I don't know. I don't know what that means right now. Oh, wow. Okay, this is hilarious. So the triple barracks play going right across. Oh, that is savage, actually. That is, oh, wow. Okay, look. He's playing a psychological game. He's like, what? No expansion? Meanwhile, he's like, I'm building a bunch of barracks at the sneaky expansion, and the Zerglings are going to spot this. That is so hilarious. These SCVs running for their lives, trying to do some damage to these Zerglings. One Zergling will possibly go down. Okay, but all these SCVs do go down. So 3 SCVs killed at this point in the game, but the Marines are out. We have what are going to be more Zerglings coming in. 4 more Zerglings. I think this is not enough. This is not enough Marines to deal with these Zerglings. I think this hatchery is as good as safe. Simultaneously, there is a base in the natural base location for the Zerg player as well. And this sneaky base, I don't think this was scouted by the Zerg. Oh man, we have a few Zerglings in the main base as well, and there's no protection. So many workers going to be going down. 5 workers killed so far by HyperONE. Now 10 workers killed. The entire mineral line virtually gets cleaned up. At the same time, this hatchery is still in danger. It is under fire. So my guess was incorrect. That hatchery will ultimately go down, but the main base for Patches is totally shut down. We have the sneaky base at the bottom right-hand side of the map, and keep in mind, this orbital command was not destroyed, so Patches is not being revealed technically, or at least in HyperONE's kind of perspective. This is the last base. Oh, that is hilarious. This hatchery will ultimately not survive. These barracks will start floating. We need Hydras. We need anti-air for the Zerg, because now the Terran can just lift and move his base somewhere else, Bikini Bottom style. Yes, I did make a SpongeBob reference. I'm old. I am very old. I may not sound like it, but my knees hurt. And I wake up every day and I have a headache because I don't have the coffee in my system yet. That's where I'm at in life. Oh no, patches though. You don't want to land this here because you have a lot of Zerglings following this orbital command. You also don't want to bring it too close to your sneaky base. A factory being built, I love that. And we have a decent amount of Marines as well, but this is so many Zerglings. I think they will ultimately get surrounded and eaten alive by these Zerglings. And yes, all the Marines ultimately going down. I really don't know what I would have done in Patches' situation. I feel like I would have just tried to keep my Marines alive long enough. And then Patches saying, no, let me land. Oh, that is hilarious. There's also nothing on the production tab for the Zerg player right now, which I think is also super funny. Do we have any gas? How much gas does he have? So HyperONE has 252 gas. He could start transitioning to anti-air. Oh no, is this going to be one of these games that HyperONE saying, how about no? I thought this was going to be like a stalemate kind of thing. Keep in mind though, this base is still very much alive, I think. Oh no, Patches, he's playing such a mind game in game number 3. He's like, let me land, please. At this point, HyperONE thinks that this game is a meme. He's not spending his money. He's not spending anything on production. He's got 1,000 minerals. And Patches, meanwhile, is mining off a base, and HyperONE doesn't know that. He has no idea. He's not scouted this at all. This is the high risk, high reward play that I was talking about. That is hilarious. These Zerglings are being very sus, though. Are they going to spot the sneaky base? Oh, come on. They're going to have to see it, right? They are so close. No. Oh, no. The Zerglings. Oh, man. This is just a dark splotch on the mini-map for HyperONE. He should just scout just a little bit more to that base. But this is kind of a red herring. Oh, wow. The wall will ultimately survive. At this point, HyperONE has to be thinking, where's the money coming for this repair? Because in my perspective, I would be like, how is he repairing this? Because I shut down his economy so much. There are Marines on the map. He's able to repair these barracks. Why? Why is he able to do that? Where's the money? And guess what? We just found it. Oh, these SCVs making the evacuation. They will ultimately get surrounded. Will they survive is the question. They all go down. That's 10 SCVs killed, 28 workers killed by HyperONE in this game. This game is now a meme. It's official. This is now a meme game. That is so funny. The factory will survive, though. Patch is able to save most of his production at the very least. How many workers does he have? Worker supply is 47 to 3, way in favor for HyperONE. Army supply is relatively even. At this point, I think HyperONE thinks he wins this game, and he's not really taking it super seriously because we don't see a lot of tech. It's literally, okay, now we have the Hydra Den, fair enough. And there's 3 Hydralisks on the way. Do we have any on the map that I missed? No, we have 27 Zerglings, and that's it in terms of army. That is so funny. A few more macro hatches coming down, though. Oh, wow. I mean, at this point in the game, I think HyperONE probably wins unless Patches does something outrageous, but I'm really curious to see how this game concludes because he's still very much in this game. We have a little bit too many workers on the refinery. I don't know if that was to protect them or if that was a misclick. No, it's not a misclick. I mean, it's technically a misclick. It's a rally on this refinery. So Patches has to figure this out soon if he wants proper economy because he's mining literally no minerals. Does he even have any APM? Yeah, he's playing still. We just had to check, make sure he's not going AFK. We also have Cloak on the way. Oh, I love this. Oh, I like this a lot. We got Cloak on the way. Do we have... Okay, we have creep colonies, which could turn into... I think they're called spore colonies, which will give detection for the Zerg. And also keep in mind, and this is the most outrageous thing to me in this kind of setting, is the Brood Lords, they have detection right out of the gate. So Zerg comes with detection immediately in Brood War. And I think in this game mode, that is insane. So the Banshee cloaking field, I don't know if that's a good use of money in Patches' situation. Oh, and some burrowing Zerglings. That is funny. These Marines, though, really keeping the base safe. This orbital command just chilling, floating. Oh no, it's not going to be used, I don't think. The factory is going to be moving to safety. The Hydras, though, the one supply slow Brood War Hydras are going to be able to start sniping buildings out of the sky, and this orbital command is in possible danger. It will be able to move across the rocks, though, and outmaneuver the Hydras for the time being. Oh, and the starport is also spotted, unfortunately for Patches. Able to save it, though, and lift it off, but if it gets cornered by these Hydralisks, will ultimately go down. I think this orbital command will go down, unfortunately for Patches. What's the army supply at, though? 17 to 24, not too crazy. Worker supply is so in favor for HyperONE, our Brood War Zerg player. 54 workers to 11 for the Terran player. The orbital command will go down. One Zergling, actually a strategically placed Zergling, will be able to check on the status of the wall. So if there was a situation like this where Patches lifted off his barracks and there were some Zerglings right here, he would have been able to kind of rush in and try and do some damage to the economy. Terran doing such a great job at turtling, and this is what I mean, though. So this wall does get opened up, and these Hydras will be able to do some severe damage to the Terran, but HyperONE doesn't necessarily have to be too careful based on his position in the game, but it's also not ideal to lose all your Hydras. These goated Marines able to chase away the Hydras and to let Patches survive for one more day. What do we have in the middle of the map as well? We have another starport. That is so hilarious. Stim is on the way at 11 minutes into the game, 11.5 minutes into the game. More Brood Lords coming out from the Zerg player. The Spore colonies are finished, so the cloaking field for the Banshees is not really going to do much. And also, this is some outrageous anti-air. I don't expect that we'll see a lot of Banshee harassment at this point in the game. Patches, though, I gotta respect the commitment to staying in here. What is that? And we have the Hellion as well, will ultimately go down. We don't have any medics either. Oh, sorry, medevacs. What am I saying? I'm watching StarCraft 2, not Brood War Terran. There are medics in Brood War for the Terran, but not in StarCraft 2. In StarCraft 2 is the medevacs. Wow. Honestly, I did not expect the Terran to survive that engagement. And then, Patches saying, how could you see up the ramp? You know, that's a good question. Maybe he was high up enough on the ramp, or something I don't know about SC Evo Complete is, HyperONE saying stream cheat, is, in StarCraft 1, in Brood War, you get, like, kind of, like, partial vision when a unit attacks from high ground. So you can shoot if the unit is shooting at you from the high grounds, but you can only see the unit that's firing, if I'm not mistaken. So I wonder if that was implemented in this mod. That's actually a good question. If somebody knows, let me know in the comments down below. I haven't played this mod for a while, and most of my experience with this mod is casting it. Taking a look at the upgrades as well, we have what are Zergling speed, we have Burrow, we don't have any attack upgrades, and we have Cloak for the Banshee, and we have Stimpack for the Marines. HyperONE saying, I'm still at #sadface. HyperONE, you're owning this game. You control this game right now. But Patches with his wall in this kind of, I guess, his new main base is kind of crazy. Not mining any gas, though. I would move at least two SCVs on maybe each of the gases if I were him. But at the same time, Patches is really starving for minerals. I mean, he's got, like, no money. HyperONE's just playing the game for the memes at this point, I'm convinced. Patches going for the attack. I don't know if this was too soon or not. These Marines actually doing a ton of damage to the Hydras. One medevac to support all this. Oh, wow, I did not expect that. These Hydras going down. The Marines, the hero Marines doing so much damage, but the Zerglings coming in to attack these, these Marines to close the distance. and going back to his little shell, to his little turtle. Oh, wow. Patch is still in this game, and I was literally going to ask that. Patch is saying, how am I still not dead? That is a good question. I've never seen a game like this before. Also, the starport's still alive somehow. I don't know what I would build at this point. We've also got what is going to be the Spire, so we have what are going to be potential mutas on the way if Patches survives that long. HyperONE saying MMR difference. Patches saying, bruh. If you guys forgot, Patches has more MMR. He's about 4,700 at the time this game was played. And HyperONE throwing some banter. You will die soon. Trademark TM. And Patches saying, I know. He's accepted his fate. He's just, at this point, it's like a defense, like a tower defense game. He's thinking, hey, how long can I survive the onslaught of the swarm? Oh, man, but here it is. I think this is going to be all she wrote. These Zerglings eating those Marines. Patches saying rip, leaving the game, giving the victory to HyperONE. HyperONE winning our best of 3 series. What a meme of a series, honestly. That was hilarious. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email and Discord in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.